I am that Paul guy, and it's Thursday. So obviously by the thumbnail, we're going to talk about Newegg today and whether you should keep buying from them if you already are, and if you're not, if you should start. Now this came to light. There's been some, we're going to say, maybe not met with the best integrity customer service practices over a long period of time. Most recently, it has gotten to the attention of Gamers Nexus, Steve at Gamers Nexus, who got a return of an open box item that when he tried to return it, he was told that he was the one that did damage, but upon further investigation, realized it was able to prove that this was something that Newegg themselves had actually tried to send back to the manufacturer that had a condition of repair on it. It was going to cost Newegg money. They declined, so they sent it back out. Steve got it, never even opened the box in the first place. And then Newegg said they weren't going to return it, or they weren't going to allow the return. They said they weren't going to credit him back because the motherboard was damaged, when in fact they are the ones that damaged it in the first place, or found the damage in the first place. We also have a case where Brett at UFD Tech had some issues with advertising revenue and prize giving. And then we've had other issues where now Jay from JayzTwoCents has said that he actually experienced problems with RMAs and returns as far back as 2013. Well, I should say almost 15 years ago, but actually stopped doing business with them in about 2013. That really is a bad look when you've been doing something like that for that long. And especially if, like a small YouTube channel like myself, I don't have too many choices. I don't have a micro center nearby, so I have to rely on being able to find something that they will sell me online, which is very few and far between. Does not include GPUs, by the way. I have to rely on trying to get it directly from a company like EVGA, where I was fortunate enough to be in their queue and get something. Amazon, which is a very good return policy, but we're talking about, almost a monopoly. Or Newegg, who sometimes, although I haven't been mistreated by them, I've been pretty lucky. I've heard horror stories of other people's treatment by them. And it's, so I'm going to kind of say slim pickings. Steve from Gamers Nexus was able to sit down with some of their senior staff recently, and I will go ahead and post a link to that video. I'm not trying to piggyback on to anybody else's complaints about Newegg. I'm not trying to get reaction based on somebody else's views. I'm simply telling you what the small person or the small consumer like myself who spends a couple $1,000s on and off, or over the past couple of years trying to do a small YouTube channel and has spent several hundred, maybe a couple thousand on PC parts, the position that I might be in. And it's a position you might find yourself in if you go looking for doing something one day, building a gaming PC, trying to help a friend, or upgrading your own, or doing something. You're presented with a few choices. And if you aren't near a place that's a good, reputable in-store place, like a brick and mortar store, like you can't go into a micro center because there's not one nearby, you have to rely on somebody like Newegg or Amazon to be able to get you computer parts. And Newegg, you would think, would be a great choice for that because they specialize in PC and electronics parts. So where does that leave things? Well, Steve was lucky enough, like I said, to be able to go meet with some of their senior staff, many of them who had only been in that position or with the company for a very short period of time. So there is some good and bad along with that. The good that can be seen out of this, and there's a few things that we're going to discuss that were actually good that came out of this meeting. The first part of it, they tried to give him some corporate speak. Steve wasn't going to dance to that, and kudos to him. And kudos to him being in a position where he has a platform to be able to back that up, and enough technical knowledge and enough knowledge about how business works to be able to stand firm on some of these things. So kudos to him, because he has done a great service to all of us and the small YouTubers as well to be able to have that influence. But the one good thing that might be out of new blood, or all the new positions, or all the newer people being in these positions, is it might give a different perspective on things that have happened before. The bad part of this, of course, is if most of your senior management has turned over recently, there's some churn rate going on there. You don't want your senior management to be in constant upheaval, especially in the customer service area. Inventory, customer service, sales, things like that. You don't want high churn rates in those positions because there's no consistency. But like I said, that could also be a good thing if those people come in and they see something wrong and they try to fix it. What Newegg did right over the course of this meeting with Steve is they did admit they were wrong. They admit they had some oversights. They weren't going to try to blame one person for doing a job incorrectly. They were taking it upon themselves to admit that they had done wrong and their process was incorrect or was erroneous. It was wrong, and the things that have happened recently should not have happened. So they did admit that their processes or the procedures that they have been doing or following or implementing do not work. So that's a good thing. That's one. One of the other things they did is they promised to change. Anybody can promise to change. Yes, we know. But they also asked for feedback on that change from the little guy, from us, from the normal people, from the folks that shop, from the folks that want to give them a chance or want to be able to still purchase from them. They want to be able to get feedback on how they're doing. Now, this could just be a thing of, oh, we don't want to lose shoppers. We want people to come back and still order from us. And if they're, if we make them mad or tick them off or whatever, then at least we got their money that one time. I don't really honestly think that that's the case here, but that remains to be seen because now we're going to have to find out if they are going to put up or, if they're going to walk the walk, basically. Anybody can talk the talk. Let's see if they walk the walk. One thing that Steve really wanted them to do was to commit during the meeting to having a dedicated email that people with problems, customer service issues, return issues, and things like that could reach out and contact customer service directly instead of having a chat or be on the phone where somebody wasn't authorized to give an answer or they got running around in circles or left on hold or nobody ever contacted them back. That there is now, they wouldn't commit to it during Steve's meeting. They did shortly after that change their policy on returns and put an email address that goes strictly to handling these types of problems. So they have done a couple of things right. They have done a couple of things correct. And they have done some things that might put those measures in place to keep things like this from happening or can maybe heal the wounds. Now, one very important thing that if you watch JayzTwoCents, I love his take on part of this that says it's not when a company will screw up, because every company makes mistakes. Every company screws up. Every company has an issue. Every company has a problem because we're human and we all make mistakes. How do you react to that? There are some companies like NZXT that had, their H1, I believe it was, their case that had some shorting problems. They took a little while and they kind of drug their feet and they didn't quite handle it as well as they could have. They did handle it, but they were better off than Gigabyte, who Gigabyte has a power supply that has been shown to fail to disastrous consequence. And still, we don't hear anything about that. And then Newegg, unfortunately, is one of those companies that sells those in a bundle so that you're stuck buying that when you try to buy something you really want. That's beside the point. But then you do have other companies like Fractal Design or Asus that react immediately when they know there's a problem. And yes, there's a problem. They admit there's a problem. And they will go out of their way to try to fix it. EVGA is another example. They had a 3090 issues with an RTX 3090 that they identified the problem. They said, look, we're going to go ahead and fix it. So whether it's the motherboard by Asus, a case by Fractal Design, or the video card, in the case of EVGA, those companies all jumped on it immediately and said, hey, look, we've got an issue. We're going to go ahead and take care of it. And they did. So then you have a company like NZXT who goes back and redesigns the case that was in question and says, look, we've made it better. We listened to your feedback and this is what we're going to do. So companies, well, they will either jump right on the problem and take care of it when they realize it's a problem. They will either react when they're kind of made to react, or they will ignore the problem and hope it goes away. Let's hope now that Newegg has been kind of forced to move off the rock, that they'll help us push it back uphill. I'm hoping that they mean what they say when they say that they really do want to concentrate on customer service. That would be a huge thing. That would be very, very welcome, especially because folks like me only have a few choices. And if you take one of those choices away, then companies like Amazon, not to necessarily call them out, but then companies like Amazon can do whatever they want because you have no choice to buy from them. So should you buy from Newegg? If Newegg was your choice to buy from and you're buying brand new parts, or if you have no other choice, or if you're willing to take the chance on something like an open box or a refurbished item, I would say go ahead. Some people are going to tell me flat out, no, that's a bad idea, don't do it. But if you have another choice, if you have a Micro Center nearby, or if you can order it from Amazon. Many times Amazon and Newegg will have very similar pricing. Amazon can get it to you quicker without costing you shipping, and the return policy is more liberal. Maybe that's the way to go. But until we know for sure that Newegg really is going to step up to the plate, that they really are going to put the customer first and take care of us like they promised they're going to, handle it with kid gloves. If there are other options, maybe consider the other options. But the time to be able to tell when this is going to happen or how this is going to happen, I think over the next 90 days to 180 days, that will be critical. If we start hearing things improve, they're going to improve pretty quickly. If they still drag their feet and kind of go through the motions and give us sort of these little platitudes like, oh, we said that, we know, and just as long as we look like we're doing it, it will take a lot longer for that to show. So within, I think, 90 to 180 days, 3 months to 6 months, we should start to see the needle move on this. And if we don't in that time, then I don't think they're serious. And, you know, I might have to look to make more frequent trips up to Atlanta to go to Micro Center or handle more business through Amazon. But I'm going to be very, very careful about things that I have to buy from an online retailer when I have nobody face-to-face or anybody to actually handle if I have an issue or not. So those are my thoughts. Like I said, I'm not trying to piggyback on anybody else's views. I definitely don't want to do that. I want to give my opinion as a small YouTuber and as a consumer, somebody that has recently, over the past couple of years, spent a fair amount of money, a good size of a budget on computer stuff and electronic stuff from Newegg, including cases, CPUs, motherboards, memory, all kinds of, video cards, motherboards, like I said, motherboards. But I just kind of want to give you guys my thoughts on that, because I'm going to be wary. I'm going to be careful. I'll still buy from them, I think, but I'm going to be prepared for the worst and hope for the best. That's what we can do, right? Anyway, I'm going to leave some links to some of the videos from UFD Tech, from JayzTwoCents, and from Steve from Gamers Nexus covering this. I encourage you guys to go see their videos. I'm not trying to, like I said, piggyback on their stuff. Go watch their stuff. It's especially the interview with Newegg from Gamers Nexus. And listen to JayzTwoCents' opinion on it, because it's very, very valid. The opinion, especially when he talks about being able to trust somebody because they do the right thing, and who you can trust. And I think that's the video I'm going to link, is who you can trust. So I hope you got something out of it. If you liked the video, go ahead and throw a like on it. If not, go ahead and downvote it. If you have had issues with Newegg, go ahead and go to Gamers Nexus website. And he's got an address or go to Gamers Nexus channel, and he's got an address dealing with these issues from Newegg. I'm not going to try to collect them. I'm not going to, you're welcome to put them in comments down in the comments section. Let me know. But I would say if you have an unresolved issue with them, please do go and check out Gamers Nexus, because he is our champion for this. And he is making sure through his own experience, making sure that this gets done right. So I look forward to seeing it. That's all I have for right now, so I hope you're having a good day, and until next time, I'll see you later.